So out of the 30 NBA teams, 4 of those teams do not have a mascot. Some of them did have a mascot at one point in their history, but not anymore. So let's start out with number 30. We have the Brooklyn Nets with their mascot, just their fans. They don't really have a super fan or anything. They just have a bunch of fans that go to their games. They used to have a mascot back in the day, but I believe in 2012 they got rid of him. So basically their fans are just normal fans. They go to their games, and it's very simple, just a normal fan base, nothing too crazy. Number 29, we have the Los Angeles Lakers with their superfan, Jack Nicholson. And he's a very famous actor. He's known for a lot of really popular movies. He's often seen on the sideline of Lakers games. I believe he's a season ticket holder, but he goes to a lot of Lakers games, and he's just a big fan, and he's notable. And because Lakers don't really have a mascot or anything, I'm going to put Jack Nicholson here. Number 28, we have the Golden State Warriors with their super fan mascot type thing, the Dancing Mom. And she went viral a few years ago for dancing this pretty crazy dance. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. It's a great dance. But the Warriors don't really have a mascot. They also used to have a mascot back in the day, but when they rebranded, they removed the mascot. So this is the Dancing Mom as the Warriors mascot. Looks pretty cool. Finally, the last NBA team without a mascot is the New York Knicks. And instead, I'm going to put Spike Lee, and he is a famous movie director and producer, and he's just a huge Knicks fan. He's always there at the sidelines encouraging the team. I don't know about now because they're not as good anymore. They're tanking kind of, but he's just going to all their games, and he's supporting the Knicks, and he's just a huge fan. He's always been, and you can say that he's like their mascot. Now getting into the real NBA mascots, we start out here at number 26 with the Celtics, who have Lucky the Leprechaun as their mascot. Now, theoretically, he's just a normal person, but I guess you can argue because he's their official mascot, it's a mascot. He's not really made out of the fluffy mascot material that typical mascots wear, but this is just a guy dressed up in a leprechaun suit. It's kind of cheap, it's kind of just raggedy, nothing too special, kind of bland in my opinion. That's why I put him at the 26th spot, not a real mascot. At the 25 spot, I have the Houston Rockets with Clutch the Bear. And although a lot of people probably like this mascot a lot, I'm not a big fan because the Rockets had so much potential with having like an alien or something or an astronaut as their mascot, but instead they chose just a normal gray bear. It's very boring. I'm not really sure why they did it, but he is kind of fat, chubby, he's kind of cute, but just not a great mascot in my opinion. The Rockets could have done so much better, and I think they could have picked one that better suits their brand. At number 24, we have the Sacramento Kings with Slamson, the lion, and I'm not a big fan of this mascot. He does resemble a lion pretty accurately, but it's just something about it. It's kind of off to me. It just looks awkward, and not really a fan of the mane or the color of his actual costume, and just the overall face in general. I'm not a big fan of Slamson, and he's the number 24 spot. At number 23, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they have 2 mascots, which is Sir CC and Moondog. Moondog is a pretty generic looking dog mascot. It's okay, nothing too special, but Sir CC, not a really big fan of. He's supposed to be a Cavalier, but I'm not a big fan of the mascots that are supposed to resemble like real people. So I think the Cavs should really stick with Moondog, kind of eliminate Sir CC. Not a big fan, and I don't like the 2 mascot type thing that certain teams in the NBA have too. At number 22, we have the Philadelphia 76ers with their mascot, Franklin the dog. And I know this just looks like a typical mascot. It's very simple, just a blue dog, but as a Sixers fan, I know that there was so much potential for a better mascot. I believe when they were redoing the mascot, they were going to have either a moose or a Benjamin Franklin lookalike, and I just think that they could have done something much better that resembles the Sixers a little bit better. So this mascot, not one of my favorites. Number 21, we have the Portland Trailblazers with their mascot Blaze, the Trail Cat, and Blaze is a decent looking mascot. Like, the shape of it is okay, but I'm just not a big fan of the face. It kind of looks a little bit too cartoony for me, even for a mascot. I'm not a big fan of this one, so I'm going to give it the 21st spot. At number 20, we have the Memphis Grizzlies with their mascot Grizz, and he's supposed to resemble a grizzly bear. And in a lot of the pictures, he's really beefy, really strong, muscular. I think the face doesn't really resemble a grizzly bear at all, and I don't really like the color. I know the grizzly bears are this weird blue color, the shade of blue, but I just don't think it really fits for this mascot. And the face overall just doesn't really resemble a bear in my opinion, so I'm going to give it the number 20 spot. Number 19, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves with their mascot Crunch, and he's supposed to resemble a wolf, but in my opinion, I just see it as like a really cheap mascot costume. It doesn't really look that good. It just looks really low quality and just not a good mascot, so I'm going to have to give it the number 19 spot. At number 18, we have the Washington Wizards with their mascot Gee Whiz, and I'm not exactly sure what Gee Whiz is supposed to be, some kind of magic-y creature type thing. He doesn't really have a distinction, no animal really. It's not really a wizard either, but he does have a cool wizard hat. Because he doesn't really have any special characteristics, I'm going to have to give it the number 18 spot. At number 17, we have the Charlotte Hornets with Hugo the Hornet. I just think he's a little bit outdated because I know the Hornets had him in Charlotte originally, the original Charlotte Hornets team. Then he moved over to the New Orleans Hornets, and now he's back in Charlotte again. So I think they should really update Hugo a little bit, maybe make him a little bit less fat in my opinion, maybe add some color, extra textures. I think that would really improve Hugo and make Hugo a better mascot. At the number 16 spot, we have the Indiana Pacers with their mascot Boomer, and it looks like to me that Boomer's supposed to be a cat of some type. So this mascot's good, not great, nothing too special about it. That's why I have him kind of in the middle of the pack here, and I think the Pacers could find some kind of different type of mascot instead of just like a cat. It just seems a little bit basic in my opinion, and I think that they can do a little bit better. Number 15, we have the Dallas Mavericks with their mascot Champ. And Champ is basically just a simple light blue horse. He's supposed to resemble the horse that's on their logo. He's just a decent mascot, nothing too iconic about him, so that's why I have him at the 15th spot. At number 14, we have the Detroit Pistons with their mascot Hooper, which is another horse, and I actually kind of like him a little bit better than the Mavs one. I just think that the black works really well for the Pistons colors, and I like the idea of it being a horse because the Pistons has like horsepower and just the whole idea of the Detroit area. Once again, this mascot's nothing too special. The only good part is the black goes really well with the color scheme of the Detroit Pistons, so that's about it. At number 13, we have the Miami Heat with their mascot Bernie, and no one really knows what he is. He's just a fun-loving mascot. I'm sure the kids really like him in Miami. I do like the nice touch of the basketball on his nose. It kind of is iconic, and the orange is really unique. I don't think many mascots really are full-blown orange, and it just really makes sense for the Heat color scheme. So he's a pretty decent mascot, and I'm kind of a fan. I like the fluffiness. At number 12, for the San Antonio Spurs, we have their mascot, the Coyote. And I know a lot of people don't like this mascot because of his huge green eyes. They're really protruding and it's just very iconic. And when people think NBA mascots, I think a lot of people think about this guy right here. But I kind of like him. I just like his overall design. And I kind of like the Coyote being a mascot for a team that's in Texas. I just think this is just a really good mascot. Coyotes are native to Texas, so this makes a lot of sense. And it's really good. Number 11, we have the Milwaukee Bucks with their mascot Bango, which is a buck deer, and I just think he looks really good with the color scheme of the actual team. The cream and green looks really good with the overall style of the mascot. The antlers are a great touch, which makes sense for the Bucks. He does a lot of cool dunks and all, and is just probably really great with the kids. So I'm a big fan of this one. He's number 11. At the number 10 spot, I have the Los Angeles Clippers with their mascot Chuck the Condor. And I'm aware that a lot of people really hate this mascot, especially when he was announced by Steve Ballmer. People hated him. But I just think he's a really fun mascot. It's really original. There's not really many mascots with just the different colors and everything. I know I might be the minority here, but just a really cool looking mascot in my opinion. And it's really different than the rest. So, big fan of this one. Have him at the number 10 spot. At number 9, we have the Atlanta Hawks with their mascot Harry the Hawk. And as you guys know, I'm a big fan of bird mascots, and this one's just a really good looking one. I like the feet, the giant feet of the hawk. It looks really good, and the red and the yellow beak just really work for this one. So big fan of Harry the Hawk. Can't really go wrong with a bird mascot.
Later that same evening.
Number 8, we have the Phoenix Suns with their mascot Go, the gorilla, or just the gorilla as he's known around the league. I believe he's probably the first one that started doing like acrobatic tricks and dunking and being all funny and stuff during NBA games and during halftime. He's basically the originator of all the stuff that NBA mascots do now. Check out the ESPN 30 for 30 on the gorilla, and he's just a great mascot, so I have to put him at number 8. Number 7, I have the Denver Nuggets and their mascot, Rocky the Mountain Lion. And he's just a huge, giant, yellow mascot. And I'm a big fan of the jumpsuit. It really suits him. I like the whole yellow thing that the mascot's going with. And the tail looks really cool as well. Just overall, I think he really matches the team and the colors and the overall design. Because mountain lions, they live in mountains, where Denver is located in the Rockies. So it just makes a lot of sense. And just a really solid mascot. And number 6, we have the Toronto Raptors with their mascot, the Raptor. And he just basically checks off all the boxes. Dinosaur, which is big fan favorite. A lot of kids like him. You know, dinosaur shaped chicken nuggets and everything. He's intimidating as well a little bit with the face that they designed for him. Funny and full of a lot of the antics, doing fun stuff, eating people. There's videos of that. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's just a great mascot and very solid for the city of Toronto. Number 5, I have the New Orleans Pelicans with their mascot Pierre the Pelican. And I'm sure a lot of people don't really like this. I'm sure a lot of you don't really like this mascot, but I'm a big fan. The way the colors of the team work with his design. Like, I like the little blue accents on his feathers and everything. And it resembles a pelican fairly well and just really works well with the Pelicans color scheme. So I'm a big fan. At number 4, we have the Utah Jazz with their mascot, the Jazz Bear. And I'm sure you think that he's a little bit scarier than the Grizzlies mascot and everything. But I think that he just resembles a bear a lot better than that one. And he just looks really cool. So overall, the actual mascot itself really is funny. And I just like him a lot. At number 3, we have Stuff the Magic Dragon for the Orlando Magic. And he's one of my favorite mascots, number 3, because of just his green color. And it's very original. It reminds me of Dragon Tales, if any of you watched it back in the day. And he has party horns out of his nose. So it's just really original, nothing like a lot of these other NBA mascots. So I'm a big fan. And it's also a play on the song Puff the Magic Dragon. At number 2, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder with their mascot, Rumble the Bison. And as you guys know, I love the Bison tie-ins with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I just think he really resembles a buffalo really well. So he's just a good looking mascot. And the color scheme of the team really fits him because he's overall brown. And the orange complements it well. And so does the blue. So it just looks really good. And I'm a big fan of Rumble the Bison. And at the number 1 spot, the best mascot, in my opinion, in the whole NBA is the Chicago Bulls with their mascot Benny the Bull. And as you guys know, he's just really well known around the league for doing some funny stuff with different NBA players and the fans around. And he has a lot of cool antics. He's just really good looking too, with the complete red body and the face of a bull. It's just really happy and probably gives the kids a lot of entertainment. So Benny the Bull, best mascot in the NBA. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with one of your friends. Check out my other mascot video where I rank the NFL mascots from 32 to 1. And check out one of these 2 videos on screen here. I think you'd like them. Thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you guys later.